Oh, yeah.
So this box transports him outside the crushing wall trap area and into another room where he just walks out of the box and returns to double-check the trap's success to make sure that it killed Stram. As you guys recall, Stram was about to be crushed, and he was. He opens the walls, and fucking, it is nasty, because Agent Peter Stram's corpse is nothing but a mangled and torn mess. It is just like crushed to bits, isn't it, Vic?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Suffice to say, he dead. So, no more Stram.
He did.
Which is good with me, because he's the second least likable character in the series next to Jeff, in my opinion. Agreed. Agreed.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's the one that ruined the whole movie. So, part 3. And he tried to ruin part 4, but they killed him immediately. They said, fuck you, you're dead.
Yeah.
So,
they knew to get rid of him.
Yeah, he's a bum. Well, okay, so Detective Kaufman is called to the scene, or Hoffman, what the fuck? You can tell I've been drinking. I've been drinking, you know it. Oh, by the way, tonight, we're sponsored by Hard-Pressed Hard Apple Cider. I'm back to that one this week just because I didn't have time to go get my gumption. And I like Hard-Pressed Apple Cider. It's kind of cheap, so that's always a good thing. But anyway, so Hoffman, he's called...
good.
Yeah. So he's called to the scene of the opening scene's trap, which is sometime in the future. Who knows when? That's the confusing thing about this series. It's a fucking Tarantino movie. Erickson, which was the guy that looked like Major Dad from the last one, he's the FBI agent supervising Stram from the previous movie. He's already there with local authorities. And, they discovered fingerprints at the scene of the crime, which is new to them, because they never fucking found fingerprints anywhere. And it turns out they actually belong to Agent Peter Stram. Uh-oh. Obviously Hoffman had retrieved Stram's hand from the wall trap, and he's using it to, basically blame him for all this shit. Which is a good plan, really. Because the dude's dead, you can't even ask him about it. And not only is he dead, he's fucking disappeared just like he said he would, He said he'd be gone, and he's going to be blamed for what he did. So this kind of gets endangered when Erickson actually introduces their new partner in the investigation. And who is it? It's fucking Special Agent Lindsay Perez. So, Vic, all our questions in the last movie about how the fuck did she die and what happened and why didn't it show her? Did she just contractually not want to come back? They're explained here. It was a false death. She wasn't actually dead. So she's back in this one. Which is cool, because I don't like it just done off screen.
It happens, man. It happens.
So, like we said, she was Stram's partner in the earlier films, who we all thought was dead, and he assumed she was dead, too. And we learned that, her death was only implied, as they didn't want to risk her life until they knew who they could trust. Because there was obviously an inside job going on here. And, Stram had been implicated as the Jigsaw killer, and only Hoffman knew of his death. They decided it was safe to let Hoffman in on the secret. And this, scares the shit out of Hoffman because, as she knew Stram best, obviously she's going to be a threat to his cover because she doesn't believe Stram did it, even if she hasn't said so yet. Well, meanwhile, we go to another location where we get Jill Tuck. Still looking pretty good, still looking batshit crazy, correct?
Yes, sir.
She just looks mad all the time, which I guess I would be too if I were her. Well, she was Jigsaw's wife from the previous films, and, she's shown opening the box from Saw 5, the one that was given to her by the lawyer, and the lawyer asked her what it was, and she was basically like, fuck you, I'm not telling you. And the contents aren't disclosed yet, but she does produce 6 envelopes, numbered 1 through 6, and a yellow envelope without a number. So there's apparently other things in the box as well. She opens one of the envelopes, and inside is a picture of a young woman with glasses, who we'll get to here. And the woman is Pamela Jenkins, who's an investigative journalist who's published a book on Jigsaw. I'd like to read that book, by the way. I hate when I see these things in movies. I want to read them. I don't give a shit if it's all fiction. It'd still be sweet.
I'd read it.
Yeah, and we both know that you don't like reading, so that's saying something.
Exactly, because reading's stupid.
Well, this chick, she corners Hoffman at a hospital in an attempt to get a statement from him. And if she cornered me like that, I would have just raped her. That would have been my reaction to it. Because she would have got... Yeah, she definitely had a Stacy Keibler vibe to her, didn't she?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No,
I
not at
love
all.
Miss Hancock.
Yes, exactly, Miss Hancock. Well, Hoffman basically tells her to fuck off. She's a sensationalist trying to profit from Jigsaw. I mean, what a scumbag. Anybody that's doing anything related to Jigsaw, what a scumbag, Hoffman. Hoffman, he's great. He's so fucking twisted. Anyway, so Pamela offers Hoffman a deal. Get her a lead on Jill Tuck's location so she can interview her, and she'll tone down the sensationalism. And Hoffman's like, well, I'll see what I can do. And he should have just offered, been like, well, how about I just give you the D before I go? But he didn't offer that. This man spends a lot of time killing people or having people killed. That's what I've noticed from these past few movies. That's like his entire fucking life. He doesn't do anything else. He's not old like Jigsaw. Yeah, I mean, he's committed to this fucking craft, didn't he?
Hell yeah, man. I kind of, there's times that I wish I could be like him.
So now he walks into the hospital room of the survivor from the opening scene's drill trap, the black chick. And that's who she is to us. Which confuses me when there's more than one black chick, because I don't know who they are. They're all the same person to me at that point.
They're all Bubba.
they're all Lubas.
Luba lover.
Luba Boner. So
yeah, Luba Boner.
Yeah, she's missing her fucking arm. I guess they can't reattach that, can they? They could reattach a finger, but not an arm.
They probably could. They could probably surgically do it or something, right?
I bet
not. They could in human. I bet they could in Human Centipede. I bet they would.
That's very true. That's an easy procedure. The arm, that's totally different than attaching somebody's mouth to another person's anus.
Exactly. I mean, my guy Lawrence Harvey could do that easy.
So black ass here, she's alive. She's missing an arm. And, Hoffman's asking her about Luba Boner here, Hoffman's asking her about what happened and whether or not she had learned anything from the game. She's like, look at my arm! Look at my arm! What was I supposed
to learn?
Yeah, it's like, not to get ghetto with me. That's what you were supposed to learn.
Yeah.
Hoffman walked out of there like, yeah, he's walking out of there like, this fucking bitch, I ought to murder her. And that might come to fruition. Who knows? I'd be okay with it. I think she's number 3 least liked person by me, by the way. Like, I think she's number 3, behind Stram and Jeff.
Yeah.
I even like the fat rapist better than her.
Wow.
I identify with him. That's all.
Understood, my friend.
Perez and Erickson, they present new evidence to Hoffman now. Jigsaw pieces cut from the flesh of John Kramer's victims used a surgical blade. Well, Stram's, quote unquote, Stram's victims, really Hoffman's, used a rough blade, which means that, Hoffman wasn't using the right type of blade. He should have been using like a scalpel, but he wasn't. So there was only one victim who matched that, and that was Seth Baxter, the pendulum victim from Saw 5, who had actually killed Hoffman's sister, and the one that Hoffman had killed using the Jigsaw MO before he was Jigsaw's apprentice. So if you guys are following this, you're good to go, because there's a lot of shit going on. Well, this leads Perez and Erickson to start an investigation on Seth's trap and tape to see if they can find further evidence linking the new Jigsaw killings and the old one. Because if it's a different knife, maybe it's a different tape and a different voice. So they're going to try to unscramble it and see what it says. So also, Stram's fingerprints seem to contain high traces of Freon coolant chemicals. And they've yet to find out why. And we find out later on why, because, obviously Hoffman's keeping Stram's hand frozen for uses in this direction via fingerprints. But anyway, Hoffman keeps his calm. He's a cool motherfucker. He ain't worried about it, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I got this. And but he is fucking feeling the pressure, you can tell. The investigation of the tape and the other clues are going to get him in trouble if he's not careful. So, he's got a plan, hopefully, for him. Jill goes to her clinic. No, not her abortion clinic. Her, fucking druggy clinic that she still works at despite having the miscarriage there, which is pretty fucked up. I would have quit. I would have quit. I would have been like, yeah, sorry, I'm done. I'm done dealing with druggies. Which is interesting because we get a conversation about this now. You know, she goes to her clinic and she's alarmed to see Hoffman there. And she takes him into her office and they start talking about John, a.k.a. Tobin Bell, original Jigsaw. And it's readily apparent that Jill is in on Hoffman's secret. She knows who the fuck he is. She knows what's up, which we didn't know in the previous movies. We figured Jill was just kind of an innocent bystander, right? They never revealed anything about her. So
yeah.
And so they apparently appear to be collaborating in some form regarding the Jigsaw killings and in a new game. Well, Hoffman says that they have to start the new game immediately and demands the envelopes from Jigsaw's box. Well, Jill agrees and gives him not 6 envelopes, but 5. So you have to kind of watch that to catch that part because, honestly, the first time I didn't fucking notice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not paying. You got to pay attention to these movies, and half time I'm just grossed out the whole time. So it's hard to like hone in on all the little details. Well, Hoffman, he's satisfied with it. He leaves saying, after this game, he never wants to see her again. And they seem to be cool with it, which is funny because like she didn't want to deal with him anyway, and she had told him that like this wasn't John's way, and he's like, John's fucking dead. So. Hoffman's going out on his own here, and that may not be a good thing because anytime anybody tries to do that, Amanda, it doesn't work out for him. So, okay. So Jill has a flashback to when, John was alive because we always got to get our John Kramer flashbacks because fucking Tobin Bell is the Robert Englund of this generation. Right? Anyone? Or maybe the Dr. Loomis.
Yeah. Either one of them.
Well, following his suicide attempt, and apparently after he began his Jigsaw killings, he's talking to Jill, and he's telling her that addiction, not his addiction, is not curable via treatment, and that the only way to help people is his way. He's giving her shit for this clinic, which probably I would too after all that. And, he brings in Amanda, and we're like, yeah, Amanda, show your titties. But she doesn't. And Amanda, she was a patient at the rehab clinic. So we get a little nice connection here. Now we know how John Kramer found out about Amanda, right? And see, they wrap up most things in a nice little bow for us. It's nice, even if they are 90% flashbacks a lot of the time. Amanda was a patient there and supposedly made clean by John's game. And Jill's kind of impressed, but it doesn't, really go anywhere with that. Well, now Hoffman has a flashback of his own. He's, kind of helping to adjust the crucifix trap from Saw 3, which was a cool trap, by the way. And this is prior to its activation. And its victim, Timothy, is still laid out in a wheelbarrow. And Jigsaw arrives in a wheelchair being pushed by Amanda. And Jigsaw kind of gives Hoffman shit for, well, first of all, he dumped the dude out of the fucking wheelbarrow. And, Jigsaw and Amanda are kind of giving Hoffman shit for failure to use proper engineering knowledge. Like friction, grease, gear ratios, all that type of shit that I don't understand because I'm not that smart, right?
Yeah.
You might be smarter than me than that, but I don't understand it because I'm not that smart, and I didn't pay enough attention in physics. I think that's for class, but it might be. I didn't go to speed school. Yeah, fuck that. We'll talk to Tyler's wife about that. She's good at engineering, from what I understand. And so he tells him to check with him next time. Well, Hoffman wonders if they're, when will be the next time? And carelessly, like I said, dumps Timothy's body on the floor, and Jigsaw is bothered by it. He's like, do you like brutality? And Amanda warns Hoffman that he hasn't been tested yet. And Hoffman's like, that's because I don't need to be. I value my life. And he's like showing Amanda's wrists. Well, Amanda's saying that, she's not going anywhere, even though he's dying. And Hoffman's like, he's like, are you sure about that? And, he's basically in on the fact that Amanda's got a test coming on, which that whole thing about keeping Lynn alive from Saw 3 is coming. And so Jigsaw kind of breaks it up by telling Amanda it's time to retrieve Dr. Lynn, which is, again, from Saw 3, from the hospital. And Amanda kind of escorts Jigsaw out of here. So on the way out, Jill's in the hallway waiting. Amanda seems hesitant or like embarrassed. I'm not sure which. And Jigsaw tells Amanda to go on ahead with her duties, which is to go get the chick. So Jigsaw's surprised that Jill showed up, and Jill begs Jigsaw to stop, or John Kramer, or whatever you want to fucking call him. And he tells her that, there's a way out even after it's gone, for her anyway. It gives her the keys